Healers are one of the three pillars that make up a balanced team, whether it's for a dungeon, or a trio, or just screwing around Eorzea as you please. While healing is one of the easier roles to play, sometimes it can get a bit difficult, especially if your team decides to just off themselves. Like, come on. Of course, not everyone picks up the healer role quickly, and some needs more time to practice than others. And that's okay, no one has the ability to master new skills in a short amount of time. Especially healing in Final Fantasy XIV. It might be a little bit different to what you're used to or what you think healing should be. On top of that, with the addition of the Endwalker expansion, there are now 4 different healers to choose from to disappoint your team. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's exactly what we're trying to prevent from doing. 4 healers we currently have are split into 2 types of healers. One type is the pure healers, which are your white mages and astrologians. These healers have a lot of heal over time skills, or HOTS for short, which heals HP over set durations. They're also classified as a reactive healer, healing HP as damage is dealt to the party. Skills such as Regen and Aspected Helios have these HOTS that's applied to everyone and keep everyone's HP topped up. The second types of healers are the shield healers, which are your scholars and sages. These healers primarily apply shields and mitigation to lessen the incoming damage everyone takes. This playstyle makes them proactive healers, essentially, quote-unquote, healing the damage before it's taken. Skills such as Adloquium and Panheima have these shields and mitigation applied to them to lessen incoming damage to the party. Both types of healers can do the job well enough, and no job triumphs over the other, so just pick which one best suits your playstyles and have fun. The first healer we have on the list are the white mages. White mages are the first pure healer in the game, being one of the initial classes you can pick from when you first create a character. It's also the only class where you can start healing right from the get-go, starting as a conjurer class from level 1. White mages are pretty simple, making them very beginner friendly for anyone who wants to start learning how to heal. The class is straightforward and pretty much just boils down to dealing damage and healing when necessary. Their main job mechanic comes as a lily gauge. For every 30 seconds that passes, you get 1 lily to use as a heal, both a single target or an AoE healing, so pick which one best suits for the situation. Once you've used 3 of these lilies, you charge up a blood lily, which opens up an AoE damage skill with a pretty spicy potency. So if you just started healing or you want to start off the game as a healer, then this club would be the perfect job for you. Not only does it eases you into the healer playstyle, it also incentivizes you when you heal the party by rewarding you with more personal DPS. The second pure healer we have is Astrologene, which is a little bit more complicated compared to White Mage, but I think this class is easier done than said. And yes, I meant it that way. This class takes a little effort to unlock. Let's just say you'll probably be used to the other healers in this list, which is great because you get to apply some tricks you've learned from other healers into Astrologene. Other than that, this class works similarly to White Mage with regens and AoE healing. Their main job mechanic is in the cards. Every 30 seconds, you can draw a card that buffs a single ally. You also have skills that increases the party's damage, and another buff just for you. That increases your damage. Another difference that this class has over White Mage is with what I like to call delayed healing. Some skills require you to cast them ahead of time, whether it's because the healing gets stronger over time or the healing needs to be timed so that it takes place after the damage is done. All in all, I would recommend this class if you are an enabler or you just want to support and buff the group. Just a tip, make sure you read up on your tooltips and find out which heals and skills work with which buff. Trust me, you need to know which one is which. Next up, we have our first barrier healer in Scholar. Scholars can summon fairies, Eos, and Selene. Like two peas in a pod, these two fairies are your little helper in bringing the heals to the party. Mostly because they're pretty much the same. You can never go wrong in summoning either one, so just pick the design you like and stick with it. I personally like Eos better than Celine, but like I said, that's just me. Scholar is the first barrier healer introduced in the game, and its main healing gimmick is in its fairy. They'll heal anyone who's not full HP automatically. And as you level up, you get a stronger fairy called Sarah. Another class mechanic that Scholar has is in its Ether Flow gauge. This gives the class another resource to use on abilities to help mitigate damage and heal the party. With that in mind, never forget that fairies will always be your best friend. Sage is the last and newest barrier healer on the block. Similarly to Scholar, Sage has its own extra resource in the form of Adder's Call, which unlocks a set of healing and mitigation skills similar to Scholar. Its main job identity comes in the form of Cardio, which is a lasting buff given to another party member that heals as long as Sage does damage with certain skills. Kinda like a dance partner, but it heals you. Another job mechanic that Sage has is the Other Sting. Every time your single target shield breaks, you get one Other Sting that lets you use an insta-cast DPS skill. Really helps with your movement, and it's only useful for movement, for the most part. Similarly to White Mage, this class also has a balancing act between healing and dealing damage, mostly because that's kind of just what the class has, just heals, shields, and damage, really. So if you like to deal damage while also benefiting someone at the same time, then this class is the right one for you. Each healer has its own gimmick, and while there are similarities with each job, you can easily transfer the skills that you've learned from one healer to another, with some minor adjustments and changes. And like I said before, no single job really triumphs over the others. Each of these healers bring in their own strengths and weaknesses into a party, and as long as you have a good understanding on how the class works, then you can clear anything that the game throws at you. So just go with the one that lets you enjoy the game the most. Hope this quick summary of what each class can do has given you an idea on which healer class to try out next. My name is Kuwago, and I hope that this video has helped you take your first step into your healer journey. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and comment any other tips that you have for those people who are starting their healer journeys. With that said, see you in the next video.